Get out. Paying bills doesn't make you family. That's what my father spat at me across the Thanksgiving table. His voice cut sharper than the carving knife, silencing the clink of silverware and the soft hum of conversation. And then my mother twisted the blade. "You're just jealous of your brother," she whispered, almost tenderly, as though her cruelty needed a gentler delivery. I smiled. Controlled. Precise. Then let him pay the $9,600. The room shifted. Chairs creaked. Forks froze. My brother's face drained. But I didn't wait for their replies. I excused myself, walked upstairs, and began shutting the house down. By morning, there would be cops, tears, chaos, and for the first time in years, I would finally breathe. It hadn't always been war. I was 12 when my father first told me, "You're the responsible one." My brother Ethan was the golden boy, charming, careless, adored. He crashed cars, racked up debts, dropped out of college, yet he was still the future. I was the fallback, the fixer, the invisible scaffolding that kept their little kingdom upright. When Dad lost his job, who covered the mortgage? Me. When Mom needed her credit card bills paid, whose account got drained? Mine. When Ethan blew through money like oxygen, who bailed him out? Always me. They dressed it up as helping the family. But families repay love with love. Mine repaid with silence, then entitlement, then cruelty. And still, I stayed. I paid. I carried them. Until that Thanksgiving. The betrayal wasn't in their words, it was in their laughter. One night I came home late from work, exhausted, my laptop bag still cutting into my shoulder, and I heard them in the kitchen, my parents and Ethan, laughing about me. "She really thinks she's part of this family," Dad chuckled. Mom giggled. "Let her, as long as she keeps paying the bills." Ethan's voice sealed it. "What else is she good for?" I stood there in the dark hallway, listening, not moving, letting the truth wash over me like acid. That was the night I stopped being their crutch. That was the night I began planning. I didn't rage, I didn't cry, I calculated. Every bill, every account, every utility in my name. They had forgotten something. Power in a house doesn't come from who sits at the head of the table. It comes from whose name is on the wires, the pipes, the roof. For years, I'd kept the lights on, the heat running, the fridge stocked. Quiet, invisible labor. But invisibility cuts both ways. They never noticed whose signature made their lives possible. I was done being invisible. So, on Thanksgiving night, after Dad's command and Mom's whisper, I excused myself and went upstairs. One by one, I logged in. Gas, canceled. Electric, canceled. Internet, canceled. Water, canceled. The mortgage, already shifted back to them. The credit card auto payments, terminated. Every account they had leaned on for years, I cut the cord. But I didn't stop there. I gathered the receipts, the proof of every bill I'd covered, every month of rent, every utility, every medical copay. Neatly organized. Timestamps, statements, my name on every line. And one final envelope, the $9,600 I'd just paid to keep the house from foreclosure. Their house. Evidence of my silence, my loyalty, my betrayal by them. I placed it all in a folder, sealed it, and set it on the podium in the living room where I knew the morning chaos would unfold. At dawn, the screaming started. "No heat! Why's the water off? The Wi-Fi isn't working!" Panic spread through the house like fire. My brother cursed, Dad stomped, Mom wrung her hands. That's when the knock came. 2 officers, polite but firm. The credit union had flagged suspicious activity, the sudden mortgage transfer, the pulled payments. They were there to confirm residency, to investigate. My parents stood frozen as I descended the stairs, calm, folder in hand. "Officers," I said, voice steady, "perhaps this will help." I laid the evidence out like a prosecutor. Every bill I'd paid, every debt I'd cleared, every responsibility they'd shrugged onto me. And then the 9,600, paid not out of love, but out of survival instinct. Dad's face drained of color. Mom's lips trembled. Ethan stuttered. The officers exchanged glances. "So you've been financially supporting this household?" "Yes," I answered simply. "And last night I was told I'm not family, that I should get out." The silence that followed was heavier than any shout. Dad tried to bluster, "This is ridiculous," but Mom's tears betrayed him. Ethan's clenched fists betrayed him. They had no defense. The officers left with warnings, recommendations, referrals. Legal proceedings would follow. But I didn't stay for that part. I walked out the door, folder under my arm, the November air sharp in my lungs. Behind me, the house that had drained me was unraveling. For once, the chaos wasn't mine to fix. And the beauty of it? I hadn't lifted a fist. I hadn't shouted. I had simply